What's up, guys? This is Sanjay Shenoy from Team Pixel Track, and welcome to this brand new video in the Content Marketing Mastery course. So, let's do a quick recap like we always do. In the previous video, we tried to understand how to come up with content ideas, and the first thing or the first step that we took in understanding how to come up with content idea is to find out all the questions, all the problems, all the struggles your users have in their mind. And a very easy way to do is answer the public. And once we found that out, we went ahead and found out keywords, the search volume, and the difficulty, and all of that. Also closely related ideas for according to the topic that you have chosen. And for this we used Ubersuggest, and then we also went ahead and validated the viral potential of an idea, and we used BuzzSumo for this. We did this to understand what other channels can be activated amongst this, and we also found out how to find variations of a content idea using forums like Quora. So that's what we learned in the previous video. And in this video, we'll be talking about evaluating your ideas. So now that you have come up with ideas, it's very important that you evaluate your ideas. So let's find out what you'll be learning in this video. So in this video, you'll be learning why evaluating your ideas is so important. I have made this mistake in the past, and it has hurt me a lot. Both in terms of money, time, and the effort that I put. It's very demotivating. So, which is why I don't want you to fall into the same trap. I want you to think of it in a very logical, rational manner, approach it in a very rational manner. That way, the content marketing strategy that you're going to set out is going to be very profitable and beneficial for you. And what are the metrics you need to evaluate your content ideas? On what parameters, on what basis, on what criteria you need to be judging whether the content ideas that you come up with is the best out there, and within the content ideas that you have, which one of them is the best out there. So we'll also be going through a sample content evaluation. So I have gone ahead and did all the 4 steps that we've spoken about in the previous video for a lot of content idea buckets. So I've done it for about 5 in total. I will be showing you how to do it for yourself, and you can go ahead and download the template of the content evaluator. So you can just like download it and put in your own values, and it will tell you whether or not you should be like going ahead with this idea or not. So let's get started with this video, and let's find out how to evaluate your content ideas. So before we proceed on understanding how to evaluate your ideas, let's try to understand why you should be evaluating your ideas in the first place. So like I mentioned before, I have made this mistake of going ahead with certain content ideas that actually did not work out in the end, and that kind of ended up hurting me both in terms of money and the time and effort and the energy that I had invested in creating such a content piece. So makes it super important to understand which content buckets that you should be going after initially, and which ones you should be probably letting go of or probably coming back later and figuring it out whether you need it or not in the first place. So you might have heard of the Chinese proverb that a journey of 1,000 steps takes place with the initiation of the first step. You just need to take that first step to even begin a journey of 1,000 steps, which is amazing, which is more inclined towards you taking initiative, which you should be. And if you have not, go ahead, go out there and just take the initiative, just write that blog post anyway. But imagine if that first step itself is wrong. So you'll end up going on a journey of 1,000 steps, which might not take you to the destination that you're going for, and it might really end up hurting you. So which is what I'm trying to avoid you getting into in this, because you need to understand how content works, right? Imagine the real estate market. The real estate market gets its value because of extrinsic factors like demand and supply. So there is only so much real estate available in the entire world that you can buy, and because how depending on how the demand increases or decreases, the value of it goes high. So but in the sense of the internet or content for that matter, you can create unlimited content, so to speak, right? And you can go ahead and create as much content as you want. And but that begs the question, what is it that you're trying to, what is the thing that is valuable? And that is your attention of your users. Now you're capturing the attention of your users from the content that you create. If you're not able to capture the attention of your users, someone else is able to capture the same attention that people have. So the attention of users is limited. The people have only x amount of time in a given day which they can allocate to doing other things apart from their regular routine. And everybody in the world, every company out there is trying to fight for that particular attention span. And now it's very important for you to monetize that attention that you have already attracted, and only then it is going to make sense for you to go ahead and invest. So circling back to understanding why you need to evaluate your ideas, you will understand through this video. When you evaluate, you will see the return on investment that you are investing in terms of money or effort or energy that you're putting in. How much money can you make back from uh, the attention that you're grabbing from your users? And ideally speaking, there should be a value for this. In digital marketing terms, this is called a conversion, where you convert a person's attention into a transaction. Now there ideally has to be a value for it, and you have to actually be making money. Initially you might not be, but eventually you'll start like trying to make money out of this. It can be in the form of affiliate marketing, it can be in the form of selling your own products, it can be in the form of ad networks, it can be anything. So if you invest x amount of money, time and energy into creating a particular piece of content, will it give you back X plus 20%, 30%, 40%, 100% over a period of, say, 1 year or a month? So, whatever it is. So, is it going to get you that? And that is what we are going to try and evaluate and try and understand. So, once you get this picture, you will understand which content buckets will be more beneficial for you, which will be more profitable for you, and accordingly you can choose these content ideas initially. So with this particular method, you're going after the low hanging fruits, you're going after the ones which will give you the maximum results with the minimum effort, or at least the same amount of effort. If we assume that it is going to take the same amount of money, time, effort and energy to create one piece of content bucket, how much are you going to make from that same effort across different buckets? So you will be choosing the one which will give you the best return, right? That's common sense. And that is what we are trying to do here. That is how we are evaluating this. And even if you don't have any kind of value to your conversion, it's okay. You can just give it like a arbitrary number, like the way I have given it in this particular video, and just try to understand how much you're going to be making out of those out of that particular attention that you're converting. So now that you've understood why it is so important for you to evaluate your content ideas, so what are the metrics, what are the parameters, what are the criteria that you should be looking for when you're trying to evaluate your content? So let's try to understand some of the basic requirements or some of the basic metrics that you'll be noting. The first thing is obviously search volume. This is basically the number of people who are looking for information around a particular topic, right? The more number of people who are looking for it, the better it is for you, because that means more number of people, the chances of more number of people coming onto your blog increases dramatically with the search volume increasing higher. So this is something that you can get from Uber Suggest, like we did, like we showed in the previous video. So the next thing that you want to know is the search difficulty, because if the search volume is very high, that means that it also attracts a lot of competition, because they want to have a piece of that pie, which is represented by the search volume. They want to have the biggest chunk possible. So, search difficulty will tell you whether or not you should be considering this particular thing, and how difficult is it for you to go out there and outrank these people and attract traffic from the search engine. Is super important, because just because a particular content bucket has a lot of search volume doesn't mean that you should be going after that, right? Because that might also mean that it might attract a lot of competition. Now you might end up getting into a battle which you might never win, because you're starting off as a new blogger. Now you would not want to tackle or take on the big giants out there when it comes to the search results. So your search difficulty also needs to be low or medium in that sense. The third thing that you need to do is the social media engagement. What kind of engagement is that particular content topic getting? Basically, the viral potential of that particular topic. So this we figured out how to do with BuzzSumo. So that is what we will be using to figure out this particular thing. So social media engagement is very important for you to know how you can tap into all of the other channels out there. The fourth thing is Google Trends. Now, why is this important? Is not only does it give you newer ideas around your content topic, it will also tell you how popular that particular content is at this given point of time. So there are certain topics which are extremely seasonal in nature. There are certain topics which might not be relevant or obsolete in this day and time. There might be topics which are gaining popularity, like, say, for example, anything to do with cryptocurrency. A lot of people are like trying to understand what it is. So the Google Trends would obviously suggest how popular it is becoming over a period of time. So, ideally speaking, you need to be going after a topic which has a very increasing popularity in Google Trends. That way, you are riding the wave before it becomes too popular and before too many people come onto the picture in terms of competition. So, Google Trends will allow you to have that particular information. Obviously, like I mentioned before, you need to understand what is the value of each conversion. How much money can your customer get you? And for that, you need to also know what is the total cost you're going to incur by producing that piece of content. Now, uh, if you're outsourcing it, it's pretty straightforward. You pay them based on word or whatever it is, and that is the cost that you're going to incur. But if it is you who is actually writing it, so put a value to it in terms of, if it takes you, like, say, 10 hours, so probably the value of each hour for you might be 250 rupees. You can come up with a number based on how much you're earning right now. And if you're not earning anything, then your cost is basically just in terms of time and opportunity cost. So you can just put a random number here, or random value, or not random, what you think might be the value of your time. So I'm just going to give you a few examples just so that you get a idea of what we are trying to do. So what I'm going to do is, I have created a very handy sheet. I'm just going to show you all these metrics and more, and how I've gone ahead and how I will evaluate this piece of evaluate all my content ideas that I've got from the research that I've done. So let me just quickly jump into the Google Sheets and show you how it's done. Okay, so this is the content evaluator that I have made. This is the sample that you're seeing here, and you can totally go ahead and I will make this sheet available for you in the download section. You can just go ahead and download it and just do this, fill in this information, and then automatically it will fill in all of these information for you. So, so like I said, search volume, I got it from Ubersuggest. Average difficulty, again from Ubersuggest. Engagements, this is actually not total engagements. I'm going to change it so that nobody gets confused. This is average engagements. What is the average engagement that is getting? So total number of engagements for a particular topic divided by the number of results, which is usually 10, which what BuzzSumo shows you. And the total estimated volume. So what I've done is, I've gone ahead and added search volume and average engagements together to get this particular number. Now, what the logic behind that is that I'm assuming that each of these engagement is going to attract at least one visitor to your blog. So just gone ahead and taken the average engagement plus the search volume and said that probably the total estimated volume is going to be about 3060. And that's what I've gone ahead and done for all of these things. Average difficulty is again the average of all the difficulty of all the keywords in each of these buckets, which again Ubersuggest is going to do. So as you can see here, these are the keywords that I came up with, or content buckets that I came up with. Number one is the strategy. The second one is the courses. services, writing home, jobs, salary in India. So this pretty much fits across different user personas that I've created. And of course, I've just created this to give you an example. So you can come up with as many buckets as you want and then go ahead and evaluate. The more number of ideas that you have, the more scope you have to like compare with each other and evaluate the best ones to go out there. So these are the main things that you need. And Google Trends, what I've done is the highest point. Let me just show it to you how it works. So Google Trends. What I've done is, say, for example, content marketing strategy, you just go to Google Trends and put in this number, search term, and as you can see, it'll show you the interest over time. And what it does here is that, say, for example, 85, it is saying that it is more popular than what it was at this point of time. So this is what the numbering is. You can just hover over this and see what it means. So a value of 100 is peak popularity, 50 means that the term is half as popular. So that's how this basically works. And I'm going to check the highest point it ever was, which was in this case 72, 49, 67, 50. I mean, uh, these are not concrete evidence, but just gives you an idea as to how popular it is becoming. Ideally speaking, this graph should be like growing like this. If I probably move it to say 2004 to present, as you can see, it is growing continuously. The popularity of content marketing started somewhere around March and it just kept growing exponentially, and it has probably taken a dip for a while now, but it's going to come back again. But yeah, this particular keyword has like gone up in popularity ever, and this is the kind of keyword that you should be looking for too. Let's look for other keywords, say services, paste it, and just let's go for. So this seems to be a more of a flatline thing because maybe people still needed content back in the time. And as you can see, it's pretty flat. But having said that, it's pretty okay to go for it. If it's flat, it just shouldn't be in a negative term. So it can either be flat or it has to be growing. If it's negative, it's going like this. It means that the popularity is declining over time. So I've put in all the points here at the last possible point in the whole Google Trends sheet. This is probably the only information that you have to manually input. And what I've done here is basically just formulas after formulas. The total expected traffic, what I'm seeing is that no matter if even if you rank number one and no matter if you get these many engagements, probably only 30% of them are actually going to click through and actually come to your blog. And to a large extent, especially for search traffic, this is true. So I'm going to take only 30% of the total estimated volume is going to convert into actual traffic. So this is the formula that I've put. You can see here, and I've put it across all of these things. And this is the expected traffic per month for this particular content bucket. And conversions, what I've done is I've put an average of 5% of the total expected traffic, and these are the number of conversions that you can expect. So you can play around with the numbers if you want, or you can just keep it the way it is, because 5% is pretty standard. So is 30%. So you can just like keep it the way it is. And if you want to make it more conservative, you can go ahead and like reduce the conversion value. If you want to make it more optimistic, you can go and increase the value also, and see how it affects your strategy and how it affects the way you're going to do things. And I've put an arbitrary value of 100 for each of this conversion, so that's pretty fine. And the total value is obviously the conversions multiplied by the value of each conversion. So this is what the total value or the amount, the money that I'm going to make from these content buckets. And the cost, I've put it again, assuming that this is going to be a 2,500 word article. If I actually outsource it, a half decent writer would come about 1 rupee per word, so it's going to cost me about 2,500 bucks, and that's what the total cost is going to be for all of my content buckets. And what is the ROI in terms of percentage? You can see the formula here that I'm going to get for these particular content buckets, and this is the most important of them all. So what this is trying to say is that if I put in 1 rupee, I'm gonna make 1 rupee and 83 paise back on whatever I've invested. So as you can see here, I've invested 2,500. I can expect about 4,500 to be made back. Of course, the time it is going to take to do something like this is a factor that you cannot determine, but you can assume that it might take at least 6 months for you to actually get this particular value back in your bank account. So you have to wait for about 6 months after you've invested 2,500 to be even thinking of making this money back and anything above it. So still, that which is fine. I'm hoping, I'm guessing that most of you are fine with waiting it out. So you're going to make an 83% return on investment on this bucket, a 195% return on investment on this 76, 103, negative 11, minus 11% on this particular content piece. So now do you understand? So this is the only thing that you need to evaluate. So if you just look at this, which content bucket would you rather go with? So obviously it's going to be this particular one, right? Because it is going to give you the highest return possible. And now all of these numbers are pretty much solid because you're getting it from a third party source, but all of these numbers are pretty much assumptions. So don't use it like a rule of thumb, but just like a guided way of coming up with evaluating ideas. So having said that, this really helps you identify the low hanging fruits in its true nature, right? And the more information you have in terms of your click through rate, your conversion rate, and the value of your conversions, the better your data is going to be. So the ROI is going to be this much, this much, this much. So if I were to write articles or create content assets across these things, so I would first go with this because it's going to take about 6 months time to even makes the money back. But I'm going to go with this because across 6 months I would have made twice as much money as I'd initially invested, probably thrice as much. So I'm going to go with this first, and then probably following with that would be this, all the content writing, home jobs, and all of that, and then this, and then probably this would be followed by that. And this is something that I would not invest my time in. Now imagine this: if you had gone ahead and done your keyword research only for this, and you saw that the search volume is good enough, you might have like, and even the average difficulty is so low, pretty low. It's actually the second lowest. So you might have thought that, hey, not a bad keyword at all, not search volume and all of that. But if we actually put it in terms of return on investments and all of that, you will see the bigger picture. You'll understand why it is so important that you paint this bigger picture first, and then you go ahead and write content depending on how much it's going to give you in return. So what I would suggest is that you create as many content buckets as possible, come up with as many content ideas as possible initially, then evaluate them using this particular sheet which you'll find in the download section. You just have to put in your search volume, total search volume. This is the total search volume of all the keywords in this bucket. This is the average SEO difficulty, which is the search difficulty in Oversuggest sheet that you'll get. This is the average engagements. So the total number of engagements across all the properties in BuzzSumo divided by 10. And these are all formulas. So as you can see, this is totally formulas. Google Trends is the highest point, whatever is there. So for example, this one is 35. So you can see here is showing 35. So you can just go ahead and input that particular data. And total expected traffic is again a formula, conversions is a formula. If you have data regarding this, if you have data on your Google Analytics setup, to give you a more accurate picture of everything. Same goes with this value of each conversion. So it depends on whether you're trying to sell a service, sell a product, sell someone else's product, or just you're using advertisement. So what is the value of each conversion that is going to get you, and that will give you the total value when you mix the total number of conversions with the value of each conversion. Obviously, you'll know the cost of creating each of this blog posts. It can be either a direct cost in terms of you outsourcing whatever you're doing, or it can be in terms of opportunity cost. How many hours did you spend, and how much is it? how much do you think the value of your time is? So put in that number, it will give you a good ROI in terms of whether you're going to do or not. So out of these 5 ideas, if I had not done this, probably I would have gone with all of these ideas. But now it has come to my notice that I should probably not be taking too much effort into creating this piece of content. Probably I will, but only after I've done all of these content buckets. So I hope this gives you a better idea in terms of evaluating which ideas to go after. So go ahead and download this, play around with this, and tell me what you think about this. So with that, we come to the end of this particular video. Check out the Google Sheet that I'm going to share it with you. Just download it and open it up and play around with that sheet and try to understand how your content works and which ones you need to be picking up, which are the low-hanging fruits out there, and which ones should you be going after initially, and then followed by the other ones. So let me know what you think about this video. You can let me know your feedback in the comment section below, or you can shoot me an email at sanjay@pixeltrack.in. Make sure you check out my blog, which is www.sanjayshenoy.com. Thank you very much again for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.